Hey everybody, today I'm going to take you through another tutorial on the speed racer car designs concepts I did for the movie and development of them and how I did it and the process and the layers and the palettes and the thumbnails and all the little chicanery in there, if there's any chicanery to be chicaned. But this one's pretty cool. I like this green and orange car. It's one of my favorites. So when I get in there, we'll look at the layers palettes. Let's see what's going on with that. Look at the path tool and how I use that a lot and how many times I've used it. There's so many different ways you can use anything in Photoshop. You can do anything differently and get the same result because everybody has their own way of doing it. I have mine. I've learned from other people. I learn new stuff every day with Photoshop because it changes, especially with all this new AI crap. So this is old school. This is 2006, if I remember correctly, 7, whatever. Who knows? But in any case, that's what I'm doing, all right? All right, let's do it. Let's get inside the box. Let's go in the, no, not that, come on, no, you can't do that. No, stop. All right, here is another vehicle from the movie Speed Racer that I was fortunate enough to be able to design cars, concept cars for the movie. And this was a fun one. This is more, it started out more angular, but it ended up more organic, just for different flows. And I was designing all kinds of vehicles, nothing the same, everything different, which is great. I love doing that. My favorite part about a design, you get to design whatever you want and how many times you want. Anyway, this is in Photoshop. I brought my drawings that I drew traditionally on paper into Photoshop, and this is what it looks like at the end. But we're gonna open up my palettes now, and you can set your palettes any way you want, like I have here. And yeah, let's get into it. Why is this not moving? Here we go. Move my palettes up there. I go to my layers palette, I turn off the eyeball, and this is one of the first sketches I did for this particular vehicle. And as you can see, it's all blue line. Pencil. This is pen on paper, and it's just fleshing out the idea. Very dangerous, very protective of itself, so it can ram into other vehicles like demolition derby racing, which is kind of cool. And in this mode, have it here, I can select my brush tool, which I already have, and I can once again like add, oops, that's not enough pressure. I can add fins to it, you know, make it bigger. Make it up here, have a vertical fin coming off the top, and extend these ones over here on both sides, or whatever. But that's in this mode. And this was my first sketch design for the vehicle. Actually, it may have been the third, but the other ones are really crude. Scribbles, just making shapes on paper. So that's that. And the second one is a tighter version of that. And I cleaned it up traditionally again, and I brought it in here, and then I can select outside these lines and everything with the path tool and create everything I want with the paths. Every piece here can be a selection, or I can go in and paint with my brush tools. So that's that one. And then I'll go to the third drawing. And this one where I make it more organic feeling. And I was experimenting with all the steering mechanisms, as you can see here, just planning it out in my head on paper really roughly, and how it was, if it's a 360 design steering system where the wheels rotated 360 degrees, which is impossible. So I had it right here. Over here, I had a wheel on the back of the wheel, which would rotate, also a wheel motor inside, which would rotate it, which is impossible. But I did it. And that's the down version, three-quarter with no tire. And here you can see where I put the wheels here and rotate the wheel, which makes no sense. But it worked. Not. And here you can see right here, I added more wheels to get more velocity. I was just making it up because that's what you do when you concept. You make stuff up, you throw stuff at the wall, whatever sticks, sticks. So going to the fourth drawing, where I tighten that drawing up, which taking the shape more. The suspension changed a lot, more sturdier, I guess. And these are razor's edge, so when it comes up to another vehicle, can flip it, cut its tires. You still have the wind intakes here, where it goes in behind the wheel into the motor to cool it off on both sides. That's fun. And then the wind would come up over, hit the driver, and into the intake here, like traditional at Formula One IndyCar. And then the wind would come in here, dissipate, get suctioned down to the ground, and over here, up through here, and create downforce. You need downforce, so to keep the car on the track. And then these things would ram into people and slice their tires. Kind of cool. And then these are the side wings that would come out remember when Speed Racer would fly through the air? You have it on both sides. That was kind of cool. That's that sketch. And then I go into, the fifth one, getting closer. This is a tighter version of what I just showed you. And this is cleaning up, adding some shadows on here, and getting ready to model it with the path tool. And what I'm going to do now is show you how I did that with the path tool. I make a layer over here, cover up that, make it really light. So in the path tools, as I showed in the other videos, paths are awesome. Let me make this black. I outlined my drawing with the path tool, which is cool. And you can come in here, so you have to get really tight with it though. And then I'll go over a path thing later when I actually do a part on here that I haven't done before. This is just recapping what I've done for this movie. So what you do is you hit your path, and then you hit the brush tool, which is your airbrush, paintbrush, whatever tool you hit, and you stroke it down here in the bottom. See this icon, bottom right, front of the car, nose of the car? You got fill, stroke, select, create a path. Awesome. So I'm going to stroke it. I click on that, and it strokes it. That's too fat. So let's make it thinner. So I hit the bracket down tool to make my airbrush smaller. It's my stroke. There we go. I'm not going to overdo it. Then I go to the next level. I hit another one. Then I go to the next one down. Over here in the path tool, I'm going down the stairs here. And you can see how I cut out all these paths in the past to design this car when I took it to completion. I don't necessarily do it when with the rough sketches, because there's no point, because we might not use that car and it's a waste of time. I can do that later on my own time. Maybe I'll go back and do that with one of these cars I haven't finished. That's a shadow. And I label everything just so as to, so you can see what's what. And when you go back to it, you need to find that layer or palette or path. They'll have it labeled, and it's so much easier to find, especially when you have over 100 of these things. It gets crazy. And you can't as far as I know, you can't make folders to put these in. If that would be perfect. You could put paths in the folders like you do layers palettes, because then you could just do a section, label it, and put it in a folder, and you don't have as many of these suckers as I'm looking at here. See all the paths, how they start to build up? So there's just all kinds of things going on here. So, and I label everything just to be safe. And when I'm working on something, and I want to make the document smaller, I always save the master copy, and I call it a worker. And then I'll compile everything later and make a smaller document, because these things get huge. So those are my paths to make up the car and how I airbrush them later. Let me go back to the layers palette. I'm going to go back to that white layer and fill it in more. There we go. See, that's just the black line work just to make up the car. And it's kind of cool in itself.
And I could do all kinds of stuff with this if I want. I can stroke it with a big fat outline and just redo stuff and make it a line drawing later on. But we're not doing that today. So what I'm going to do now is get rid of that one. Actually, I'll open the... Ooh, where is it? Body styles? No. I wanted to show you. I guess it's this one. Nope. I guess it was the body style. This one, this file I lost. I merged a lot of stuff, so I don't have what I used to have with the other one. So what I'll do is, and I haven't looked at this in a while, so I'll go to the body styles. This is the style what it comes out to look like when it's done, basically. After I've finally rendered everything, and you get a bit different takes to it. Speed, so it's moving. I blur wheels, and then I get tighten up different chassis and shocks and stuff like that. But this one is pretty much done, and all I got to do now is do a background for it. And I have the background already completed because this is on the racetrack, and I've done this one already. I go to the track down here at the bottom. Oops, right here, there it is. And I turn it on. And that's the racetrack I made for it. Because they're like lines, racetrack lines, and on the turns and stuff, so they can see it. So I'll put a shadow beneath it, so it looks like it's on the ground. And I'll put some streaks and a bigger shadow. I like that bigger cast, you know. And then it seems to all come together as speed. You change the color of the spokes if you want. Knock them down, it's so gray. I can even make them green, which is kind of cool. And make the tops green, which I kind of like because it's the whole vehicle. It's on the green and the orange side. And then I put some highlights on it, and the highlights really pop it off. I'll turn over here. See here, the highlights, they pop it off big time. And then I have the shadow on the road itself to help give it more depth. And then I have some more streaks off the vehicle, just to give it a little blur. I knocked that opacity down quite a bit, so it's not so prevalent. There we go. A little more. Anyway, that's how I did this one. And to change the color of this one, oh boy, because I didn't keep those in layers, the whole body style, it's going to be difficult. I can do it, but it's better if you don't merge those layers, which I did for this one. I don't know why, but I did. So as long as you have the paths that you can always go back to, you can always keep the layers, separate layers, and change colors at will. Like for instance, maybe I'll take a layer above the body style, and then I'll go into my paths, and I will pick, what's that orange? That orange right there. See the stripe, the orange? I'll make that a different color right now. So I'll make it, let me see. I'll make it more of a pink. Yeah, more of a pink. Okay. So I go and hit stripe, I hit pink, and then I'll hit the fins to delete some of it, because it's cutting into that. And then I need to find the wheel suspension. There it is, and I hit the selection tool, and I'll delete that so that the pink doesn't interfere with my other colors. Then I'll go back to the layer over here to the right. Let me close this right here. That's the pink. I'll make the opacity from normal to color, and it changed everything. Even changed the driver. So I have to go back to the driver in the paths tools because I labeled everything. I can find the helmet right there, helmet. make a selection and delete the pink, and then delete the selection. And that's one way you can do it. A little harder this way because I merged everything. But if you don't merge everything, then you can constantly change colors to whatever you want to do. And even with that pink, I can go into here, select that layer with the pink on it, and hit Command Hue Saturation, and then change it. Change it to green. Change it to blue. I like the orange though. Let's see how this works. There's purple. Let's go with purple. That's a mishmash of colors. But anyway, when you have the logos and stuff, if you have those on layers, they don't affect it, but this is all merged, so it affects the layers. So the best thing to do is not merge everything, especially on your master. This isn't the master, but it's the one that I found recently, so I can show you guys. So let's go back, get rid of this. Let's go back to reality. And here's the final, what it looks like. Oh, I forgot I have a reflection down here. There's my reflection right here. See, on the right here, reflection. Add reflection, and then I go back to final, and there it is. And that's the final Speed Racer. And that's how that goes. It's kind of cool, huh? Why is it not going? So we can see all these details really good. Nice. So that's Speed Racer car number 2. Not number 2, 41 actually, in the video series. So, cool. On to the next one.
All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you like what you see, please subscribe, tell a friend, and we can keep doing this. I got a lot more artwork to show and a lot more artwork to get through. So I appreciate you watching, and keep watching because I got more to do. All right. It's over. Turn it off. Okay. Yeah. Okay, bye.